You're exactly right, Mark. That's a great point. And John Mechie, for instance, John Mechie's a really good receiver. You know that. You saw it last year. But did John Mechie benefit 2 years ago from having Ruggs and Judy and Waddle and Smith? Did he benefit last year from having Smith and Waddle for part of the year? Sure he did. He got a lot of single coverage. Everything was slanted toward Devontae Smith and, of course, Jalen Waddle when he was still playing. Now, all of a sudden, teams see John Mechie as wide receiver one. He's really good. I don't think he's the caliber of those players that you mentioned. And now when people are showing extra attention to him, he's struggling a little bit. Now, Jameson Williams has helped out a ton coming over from Ohio State. His speed is world class. And he, in my opinion, has been the best receiver on the team this year. But even he has had some drop balls. Mechie's had some drop balls. Slade Bolden has dropped balls. Billingsley's dropped balls. Cameron Latou dropped what would have been a touchdown against Texas A&M. Would have probably been the difference in the game. And Brian Robinson's having a really good year. In fact, I thought the other night they didn't use him enough. He's running hard, but he's not Najee. Najee out of the backfield was like another receiver, Mark, and he's showing that in the NFL. His pass catching skills are receiver quality. I mean, those players are first-round draft picks and even elite as rookies in the NFL. These players are good, but I don't think they are what those players were. And I think Bryce Young is really talented. And it wouldn't shock me if before he leaves that he's up there with Tua and Mac Jones. But right now, the Mac Jones of last year is better than the Bryce Young of right now. So Alabama's not the same team, and particularly on offense. Defensively, I'm scratching my head a little bit because I quite frankly think they should be better than they are. Now, against Ole Miss, they were fabulous. So they showed what their potential is to hold, as you said, the Rebels to 0 points and 118 yards of offense in the first half. Come on, nobody's going to do that. But for whatever reason, outside of that one game, they have not been a dominant defense. They've missed too many tackles. They haven't got enough pressure on the quarterback. They've had breakdowns in the back end. So this Alabama team, I still think, can get to the college football playoff. But I also think the margin for error is gone. And I could see this team losing another game or two if they don't improve.
It's going to be interesting coming up this Saturday, of course, against Mississippi State. Mike Leach joins the conference, and we were all curious to see how that would work out. And to his credit, he adjusted when the passing game didn't work last year. They became a running team and defensive-minded team that finished with a flurry, won a bowl game, and then they turn around this year, and he's got the quarterback in play, and he's developed him to a point, 14 touchdowns and 2 picks. He's a really good player, and they're going to throw the ball. He's pushed 70 pass attempts the last 3 weeks. They're going to throw it a ton. Alabama's going to have to tackle in space.
The air raid is back, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you said it. Will Rogers, he ran this offense in high school, but it's not the same as what, they're running at Mississippi State. It's the same concept, but running at this level, it's taken an adjustment. But they're back. You're right. I mean, they're throwing it more than anybody in the league. As you said, 1,862 yards, 14 touchdowns, 2 picks for Will Rogers. He's playing great. And, the main thing that they're doing, you watch this against the A&M. Last year when they played Arkansas and Barry Odom, put that 3-2-6 scheme in and just gave them fits. And that's what everybody started doing last year. I mean, they started playing zone, and Mississippi State was still trying to take it down the field, and they were turning the ball over. It was just ugly, like you said. So they wound up becoming more of a running team. This year, Rodgers has got the experience, and you know what they'll do? If you drop back in that zone, he's patient. He'll throw it underneath. They'll pick you apart 7, 8, 10, 12 yards at a time. And then when you come out of that zone, you man up on the outside, then they'll go over the top against you. We saw that against Texas A&M. So they're a very scary offensive team right now. I mean, this is what Mississippi State fans thought they were signing up for when they got Mike Leach. They saw that first game last year against LSU and said, wow, 600 yards, this is going to be every week, and it wasn't. COVID, just a lot of different reasons they never really got untracked. This year, I know they've got 2 losses, but they've gotten untracked on offense, and let's be honest, that Memphis game, come on, man, officiating killed them. And against LSU, they had a chance to win that game. So I think they're going to be confident. And if Alabama, and you say, well, you got to get pressure on Will Rogers, but you know how hard that is to do. Mark, he gets the ball out of his hands. That's what I'm saying. They're operating at a high frequency. So like you said, you better tackle in space. They're going to complete passes. When they catch it, you got to tackle them. You've got to make them go down the field and play after play after play, get them into third downs, and hope you can get some third down stops. You know, you can't allow them to hit 3 or 4 pops on you and then in the red zone and they score. Even if Alabama's able to answer, I don't think Alabama wants a shootout in this game. Now, defensively, I also like what I see from Mississippi State up front. They're physical, they're fast, they're not deep. Okay, they don't have a lot of depth, but they're running to the football. They're tackling people. I'm high on this Mississippi State team, and I think this is, you know, you look up again, and here's Alabama because the odds makers are trying to set this line so they can get an equal amount of play, and it's 17, 18 points again. I think Alabama's going to win the game. If they cover that spread, I'll be surprised.